Hey everybody, welcome back to Fossil Games and our little beginner town here of Fossilfelde. I think it's looking pretty nice at night, right? You can see very clearly we've got sort of a little town center going here. Things are starting to sprawl out in the different directions. You know, I still can't say in particular I love the look of this industrial zone, but you know what? That's just sort of how the vanilla game is, and yeah, I think we're just gonna have to work with it for now. We had a little fire here just now. Looks like it was put out pretty well. I wanted to check, see, it looks like it used both of our fire engines on the one fire. So what I'm actually going to do is just bump up our fire budget a little bit. Because this isn't actually just fire, it's also for any kind of disaster. So that just kind of makes more fire trucks available so that if there's two fires at one time, you know, which could happen, right? That's logical thing to expect, then they'd be able to handle that just as well as they'd handle one fire, right? So anyway, last episode, we really mostly got into some decoration. Not severe detailing, but just putting in some trees, a few paths, those kinds of things. Did I put down any little parks? I don't think I ever did. I think we put in no parks yet. Um, But yeah, that was mostly the focus of last episode, and so that kind of got us to a place where we're looking a little bit better. I'm pretty happy with how it's looking, but now we're at the point where we really just need to focus on expansion. You know, I think we've also talked about some key parts of the games and different ways you can go about it, and how I sort of like to go about it right now. But now I think we need to focus on sort of plowing through some milestones, and the way this starting tile is laid out, I can see that we're never gonna have like the real feel of that we have a coherent, congruent town or city until we can get this park set up in the middle, right? This is always gonna feel sort of like an open space until we can um, uh, yeah, until we can really do something with it. So my goal in this episode is to kind of come around here and close off this area, right? Put out some suburbs, maybe a couple of shopping areas according to whatever kind of demand we've got going on. We'll be able to use some cool stuff from the milestones we unlock. I'm hoping maybe even to get to 2 milestones, even though that may be a little bit ambitious in about half an hour, right? Uh, and we'll have to almost double our population for that. But let's see, it might be possible. And then I think the idea then is to buy this tile and be able to expand out from here in this direction and really make this sort of feel like what we have already sort of feel like the hub, the center of the city, right? And then the things sort of build out from there. So yeah, let's get started here. We've got quite a bit of cash built up already for this project. And I think first things first, I'm actually thinking kind of a cool way to do this is gonna be to bring down a road this way at an angle. I'm wondering maybe if we come over this way first. Oh, this has no kind of symmetry to it whatsoever, does it? All right, there's the next milestone already. Didn't have to do anything to get to that. There we go, free gift, right? So let's see what we got here. It doesn't look like we got anything super, super critical. The one thing I like to put down right away from this milestone is the post office, right? That's sort of, if you think about it, it's a pretty essential service for basically any town of any size. Um, I might also put down an emergency shelter. Well, I'm actually going to wait with that. Because we don't really even have the means to detect incoming disasters yet. And so the emergency shelter would largely be, yeah, I wouldn't be able to accomplish very much with that in any case, right? So I'm probably going to wait with the shelter, save that money for other things, for our growth and expansion here. Um, the other nice thing to do would be the disaster response unit, but um, also not critical until we really have a disaster. The cemetery. The cemetery is the one that absolutely has to go down right now, right? Because otherwise everyone will start complaining because, people die and you don't want dead bodies piling up in your homes, right? That's kind of gross. So we need to give them somewhere that could take them. So post office, cemetery, and we'll review the policies real quick. Hang on. Well, we'll keep running the game so we get into the daylight here. Let's look at our loans. Take those again. Our budget and taxes are fine. And then let's go for a cemetery. Where would be a good spot for this? I'm actually thinking somewhere right along here. Sort of at the corner of this big park that we're planning, right? Okay, this is a pretty nice spot. This sort of gives everybody decent access, sort of gives the hearses decent access to the industrial zone and to the center of town. What is going on? My game is struggling a little bit. Come on, keep going. I think it must have been doing an autosave there. Totally worth it. Because, yeah, if we put it here, then the hearses would pretty much only have access because of this one road to head on down this way. And we want to have access in both directions. So I sort of like this right on the corner of the park here. And, yeah, we're going to stick that down. Yeah, the terrain on it looks all right. Sometimes the cemetery can look a little bit weird if you get it on odd terrain. So I always sort of check that for a second. And the next thing was post office, right? I am absolutely looking in the wrong place for it. There it is. Okay, I knew it didn't really make any sense where the post office was actually located, right? Why would you put it in the public transit tab? I'm not sure exactly. I suppose just because they had nowhere else to put it. That's probably the real reason. And yeah, we're just gonna stick that right down here. It's gonna be sort of part of our downtown. Because think about it, if you live in a small town, you're not driving out to the suburbs, right, to go to the post office. The post office is located right downtown. One of our laundry places is gone. My goodness, is this the Olive Garden? Sure looks like it, right? Or is that just me? Now, it's called M&H Clothing, but I think this is our Olive Garden branch. Moved in right next to Coin Laundry. So I guess fewer laundry services in the town now, but that's all right. We're getting a couple of slightly taller buildings coming in now as they move up in level. Okay, we could use a little bit more electricity. Okay, our budget's already 100% for electricity. And we still only have access to the coal power plant, so I think it's pretty clear we're just going to have to put down a second one of those. Which is not a problem for now. Especially if we sort of take the attitude that we have to take towards this industrial zone, that it's more or less temporary and that's not how it's going to end up looking, right? So we'll just plop down another one of these. And what's cool is that gives us so much electricity that we could probably bump this down to like 80%. And we're still okay. We'll probably have to bump it up again soon, but that's not bad, right? Okay, so now let's get back to what we were doing over here. I can see now because of the way we have these roads planned out. We're sort of coming in on this at a bit of an odd angle. And I think I'd like to bring this out this way. Bring this down at more or less a 45-degree angle. Right? And then, there we go. It's a little bit too far, I think. Sorry. Okay. We got the angle right there. And then we're going to take this and we're just going to curve it nice and smooth into that road. I didn't really want to connect them with a hard junction there. I didn't really want to have any of that on the edge of the park. Yeah, I think that sort of breaks up any threat we might have had of being too gridded, right? Okay. So then off of that, we could sort of start to build a couple of other streets here that that could be for more housing. Although really, I see that we've got some industrial demand going on. Let's pause this. I'm gonna interrupt the water flow here. Got some industrial demand. And wondering what the best way to tackle that is really gonna be. That is a good question. You know what? I'm going to try something actually, because I don't really want to buy this next tile over just yet. In any case, I don't want to just make this industrial zone like this monstrosity that extends out, you know, all the way to this mountain or something, right? It's also a lot of bottleneck traffic and just generally a bit unnecessary. So I think what I'm going to do, I think my plan is actually to build a bit of an extension here that is going to be sort of a mixture of some commercial and just a few odd industrial buildings here and there. Maybe even put some homes dangerously close, right? And the idea being that this is going to be sort of the rougher side of town, right? The side of town that's not as clean, that's not as polished, right? So let's see how we want to do this. I don't want that to be right next to the park, so I actually want to come back this direction. Should I do this? Very tricky. Okay, I kind of like this. A little bit. There's something slightly odd about it. Maybe we shouldn't continue this long, straight street there. But I'm gonna leave it for now. And then we're gonna build a couple of junctions here and connect it on over to this little neighborhood. And we're gonna make some more use out of these tiles here. I guess they're gonna be the same either way I do that, right? Yeah, we'll go with that. Right, and so I think here we're gonna go for. Let's go ahead and run the game again. I think here we'll go for some commercial, and We'll also do a little bit across the street. This is just going to be like sort of a smaller commercial area. And then we're going to stick a few industrial buildings just right in here. Nothing super major, right? We're going to sneak a few in there though. And then here we're going to have some homes. And there we go. We already need to boost electricity again. So let's go ahead and do that. And then, yeah, I think we're going to organize it like that, something like that. And, you know, let's not forget, too, that putting the industrial zone that close to housing and stuff, it's, one, it sort of helps give a little bit of character to this side of town, and two, it's really just sort of a stopgap measure to meet the demand that we've got going on. Down here, I'm planning on having a bit more of a serious commercial zone. How should we design it, though? That's the real question. I want to make it feel something about the same as this. And I think the idea is that it's going to be secondary to this, but really only just because it's far out, not because it's really going to be any smaller in size, right? So I think it'll be something similar. Yeah, why don't we even just start with that? We're going to expand on that here real soon. But I want to kind of get the demand going, so we also have room for more housing. In fact, why don't we just start by putting that down right there, and then we'll have houses along this stretch, I think. Okay, we're still having water problems? Ah, that's just because I didn't put the pipes down. As I was trying to figure out what happened. Thought we ran out of water there. Okay. So we got that taken care of. Oh, and I love this. Okay, this industrial area, like the little bit of industry that came in here, I love it because it did not come out with those huge, with these big tall buildings. Like even at level 1, you know, they've got these industry buildings that have these huge tall smokestacks, and they're like these really intimidating factories, right? So I actually love this because they just sort of came in with some of these smaller warehouse type storage yard kind of things, and that sort of mixed in with the commercial makes it, yeah, it just makes this feel more authentic, and I like that. But we don't want to go too far with this either, so I don't know, I may actually be forced here to go ahead and buy this tile right now. Let's think about that for 1 second. I realized that I forgot to review some of our policies here. I've been playing around with some of these policies in another game that I have going, and you know, we might go ahead and turn these on at some point, just sort of for fun. If nothing else, I want to show you guys that it's possible, because I'm actually playing another game with all 3 of these on, all right, which is supposed to just completely tank your taxes, and it's a little bit more of a challenge, but it's working so far. So we might have to look at that a little bit later. Recycling, that's a pretty cool policy and helps you sort of keep up with the trash system, right? Which the landfill isn't full, but we've got a lot of trucks working. So I don't think we need that across the whole city just yet. You know, what I'm going to do is go into Aspen Hills, right? Our little sustainable districts that we have here, and we're going to turn on recycling in those areas, right? Because they would have them. Environmentally friendly and conscious, all that, right? They would recycle, but maybe not across the whole city quite yet. Let's see. Recreational use. What do you think? I think, yeah. I think definitely, yeah. Yeah, we're not going to deny our people a little bit of recreational use, or the taxes that come with that come from it. Tell you what, I'll give you the pot. You give me the money for public transit. Deal? Deal. I like it. All right. We don't need to worry about heat. The free Wi-Fi, I think it's kind of cool. Just thinking about like, pretty much everywhere in town is some business or another, some area where they got free Wi-Fi. So, I'm actually going to turn that on in just in this sustainable district. Right, thinking that people might come there to sit in the cafe or something, um, and use the Wi-Fi. And I think that's pretty much all we got going so far. All right, how are these coming in right now? Yeah, okay, coming in a little bit at a time, but what we really need, clearly, um, is some industrial. Right, we need some industrial buildings. So I'm gonna try to stick a few more down here in this area, but it could be dicey if I try to go too far with this. Let's see what we end up with here. Yeah, we're gonna have it close to the housing, but hopefully not right on top of it, right? So we can sort of zone all of this with commercial, and then put some industrial out here. So we're gonna have a small buffer zone, but a buffer zone nonetheless. Oh, that's kind of cool, right? Create a nice little S shape right through there. Makes it feel like a little neighborhood, right? And we can put in a few houses here. And, oof, yeah, I don't want to fill out this whole thing with industry, but maybe just a couple of zones here in the corner, and then some more commercial. Right, so I think what we're going to end up having is this is going to be the main part of town that we've got going on here. Uh-oh, what's this? Not enough educated workers. That's not a problem I can fix right now, is it? I think you're just going to have to deal with it. How are we doing on education, actually? We're good. We're good, no worries. Everything under control. So yeah, those guys are going to have to deal with it. They'll probably, a business will probably be abandoned before too long, but what we're going to end up with here is sort of a core of the city, of which this is going to be basically a suburb, right? That sort of trails off here a little bit, and then we're going to have another, more or less main neighborhood, right, where we have some industry going, some commercial here, and then it's going to tail off with some residential, and then we're going to have something similar over here, right? That's the basic idea. Okay, quit telling me things. How do I shut that off? I still haven't figured out how to shut that off. So before we do anything else, things seem to be moving along pretty decently. So let's kind of get to the main point of this episode, which is to create this beautiful park I want to create here. All right? You can draw along the roads. I'm sorry, this is probably way too tedious for 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 a YouTube video, right? For a YouTube Let's Play, but it just bothers me later if I don't have my districts. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's completely anal about this, right? Got to have the districts lined up properly with the streets. Yeah, we're almost there. It doesn't take too long anyway. So you guys will forgive me, right? as I erase section after section and go back again and again and again and again. You guys are great. If you stuck with me through that, you guys are awesome. And if not, oh my goodness, what just happened? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, that was a disaster. If you guys didn't stick with me through that, or if you guys are about to give up just now, hey, I don't blame you. I do not blame you one bit. That is a fair game. But hey, let's look at it this way. If you're newer to the game, right, and you haven't painted a district yourself before, then this is almost like a tiny little tutorial for you, right? You can use this smallest little brush here to lock the brush to the roads, right? And I mean, it's a little bit finicky. You have to be a little bit careful as you go along the road, but you can more or less keep it stuck to the roads, and then it creates this really nice area here. Oh, didn't even realize we were back in nighttime. Okay. So where do we want the main gate to be? What's the terrain like back here? Terrain's here is okay. I think I'm going to put the main gate right along here. Right? Sort of right along the back of this cemetery. Okay. And that why is this leisure thing open? Go away. I didn't tell you to be open. Okay, so that unlocks some stuff that we can start to use for park areas. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then we want to put a couple of side gates down. Small side gate. What's the difference between these? I do not know what the difference between these really is. But maybe we'll put small park main gate. Ah, okay. I see. This is actually to be compared with the park main gate, right? It's an alternative to that. I see. Well, we're gonna put down a little side gate there. A little side gate here. And also maybe one over here. Why not? Right, and those are going to be the areas where, basically where people can come in and out of the park. I like this one with the trees. I kind of feel like, if they give us the option to use the trees, why would you use the one without trees? You know what I mean? Okay, this is nice. It's kind of hard to see here in the dark exactly what the terrain is like here, but I don't want to rush forward into daytime just 'cause, right? So I think we're gonna actually work on a little bit more expansion while that's happening. And I think for that, I'm gonna sort of finish off. I'm gonna sort of tail off the town right here. I'm gonna sort of detail in the edges of town for now. Right, and that's basically just going to be done with a few more sort of windy roads. I don't want to go too crazy right at first, but then at the edge here, sort of get out more and more into some windy roads that aren't going to be too heavily that aren't going to be too heavily populated. And yeah, we're even gonna have a few dirt roads there at the end. Yeah, just like that. I think that works. We could put a couple more sort of small roads here. Okay, that's my alarm, guys. So we hit not 3 hours. I was gonna say 3 hours. We did not hit 3 hours. That would be tough. Oh, what's the terrain like there? Slope down? Oh, only slightly. We're good. So yeah, we're just gonna fill that out a little bit. Maybe do a tiny little bit more work on the park, and then we'll call it quits, and we'll see how far we get to in our population in that time to the next milestone. Because it's actually not too much. I mean, well, when you look at where we are and where we have to be, it's kind of a lot, right? But it could happen. We're gonna put in some new houses over here, right? So in that time, while those houses are coming in,
Warning.
you never know.
Experts predict an earthquake.
Oh, okay. All right. Change of plans. We got an earthquake coming in. I can't tell where it's about to happen, but let's wait and see where this is gonna come in before I do anything else. Okay, where is it? Oh boy. Okay, let's hope it doesn't destroy anything too major. Okay, this is interesting actually.
Earthquake is occurring.
Whoa.
Don't panic and wait for help if you are in the affected area.
Holy smokes, it's a big one, huh? Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, that ripped a hole right through the middle of my town, right through the middle of my park. Oh boy. Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Fires all over the place. Oh my goodness. What a disaster. I'm sure our income is just about to tank. All right. Well, on that note, having faced a major natural disaster here, we're going to call it quits. And we're going to discuss next episode then how to sort of integrate this into the story of the town and sort of build around this huge crevice that's opened up in the middle here. And I think we're going to have some fun doing that. I can already sort of have some ideas. I like that this came across right into the middle of the park that we're going to build. So anyway, before the whole town burns down, we're going to call it quits, and I will see you guys here for the next episode. Thank you for watching. Hit subscribe if you enjoyed it. Let's take a cinematic look real quick at our city on fire, right, and the disaster from the earthquake. All right, guys, thank you for joining me. I will see you back here next time. Until then, stay safe and enjoy. Bye-bye.